Hello, sorry I'm late. I made my dinner. Doesn't that look good? Good enough to eat? Yummy, eh? Yum, delicious. Raw cucumber, raw tomato, condiment, peppercorn ranch dressing, and 1 serving mixed nuts, and of course, my 1 Brazil nut. And am I more hungry later? I might have a rice cake. Coffee. Warm. It was hot. I went to my doctor's today, and they agreed I should eat more vegetables. And fruits and nuts, grains and seeds. Just waiting to see my blood test results. My iron ferritin levels. I had earlier today supplements, of course. 1 dose of biotin, 1 dose of stress A's, and then I ate some potatoes and corn, 1 serving of each. Now I'm eating this. And potatoes and rice reduced my iron levels before, and I try to have potatoes and or rice with every meal so that my iron levels can come down more. Of course, I'm going to have another hot tea, black tea or green tea. Both can reduce my iron levels, ferritin levels. It's happened before many times. Maybe that's why so many other tea drinkers used to have low iron ferritin levels. It didn't matter what they ate. I don't know that I'm eating peanuts. I think they're hazelnuts. It's one thing I like about this blend, mixed nuts. Not many peanuts. Squirrels, chipmunks, etc. outside. Instead of me many times. Oh, yes, do like and subscribe. The doctors agreed I can return to well-being and fitness, do more fitness, active. This is so good. Good, good, good. Cucumber, tomato, raw celery, lettuce. It's pretty much everything raw I like to eat. Onions, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. Huh. Mm. As I said earlier, I'm getting my blood test results, my iron, ferritin levels. I know my sugar levels are usually above 3 and below 4.6. I'm not diabetic. Although I have not had a coffee that's considered as regular double. Very long time. Do a treat. I'm in my home. I can do whatever I want. This might gross out some other people. Too bad. Too bad for you. Not bad for me. As I've said before, I don't always like to use condiments that are low calorie. Only in my coffees, because I like a little bit sweet. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. This time I did not. I am going to get my newest hot beverage. I can be right back. I will be right back. And we'll do that show and tell talk I sort of mentioned earlier, my live stream about. I've mentioned some of it before. This time I got more information. Accurate, less bullshit. I'm back. My newest hot beverage does not look good. I don't know how many of my subscribers, my audience, my viewers, my fans are here now. Any? Hello. Okay. So I went to my doctor. Some other people I found discriminated, prejudiced, prejudged the word psychiatry. They misinterpreted it. They misinformed. They deemed it crazy. They deemed it not sane, not competent, not employable, all bad, all purposefully, all purposeful, all wrong, and all financially. They just wanted it instead and misused it. And instead, I try alternative, holistic. I have tried some of that. And today, my doctor was like, yes, you can continue to do that. Do you choose to? Although I'm not going to do it with you. And I said, well, and I told him what I was doing. And he said, you can continue with that, yes, but I'm not doing anything else. He's not doing any herbs or anything. He's just said, keep doing with what you're doing. And let's talk for a while. So we spoke about it. He said, yes, I can prescribe you something, but it's not a cure. It's not going to make everything go away. It's just going to help you, calm you down, make you function like you used to instead of anything else. You'll be able to get up first thing in the morning, do your stuff, have your me time, have your water first thing in the morning, help your mom more who needs your help your cat more, help yourself more, and you'll feel more at ease, more relaxed. Diagnosis, depression. What else is new, And I was like, okay, now what? And he gave me a prescription. I've already taken a dose today. And he says, come back in a couple months or so. We'll reevaluate and take it from there. Because I've tried it outpatient with other doctors, and it was just like pill push, pill push, pill push. And it was just this and that and everything else. And I had headaches and all that. He actually believed everything. And did he not? He just went along with it and was like, here we go. He said it was all my mom's fault. All my mother. 1984 and later. 1984, since my dad died, my father dead. And all others, everything since. Including my mom, health, health, ILL, disabilities, disabled, and mental health. And the fact that my mom has pretty much completely forgotten me most of my childhood and adult life, and doesn't very remember my father often. He knows that he existed, but she story tells. And some people off and on and off media and elsewhere public, stalkers, internet trolling, stalkers. And my mom tended to believe that until myself and one and or more intervened. And we were like, no, Mom, that's not who they are. That's not what happened. And there's a documented proof, other people, stalkers. He was like, you don't have obsessive compulsive disorder. You're not delusional. You're not paranoid. You have actual fears. He was like, believing I'm a celebrity, we're celebrities and we're public, and my mom just has a mentality of having forgot, and it takes a lot out of me. Takes a lot from me, time. My careers are pretty much all stopped. I do have I am multimedia. I told him, my mom didn't know that. Apparently, again today, she had no clue. And multimedia, And he asked, when's the last time I worked like in person out in public? And I said 2019. I have no shame, I'm not gonna lie. And it was like I do some things, hobbies and stuff. I don't actually work. I mean, he asked my income online, and I just told him what it was. And he was like, oh, well. And we just had a nice chat. And he asked about my mom, and I told him she's got Alzheimer's. And I mean, she can function somewhat on very, very good days. She can make her own foods. I mean, I help her. She can't use the oven, and I have to supervise the stove because she needs to leave stuff on. I help her use microwave. She can. I help her. She can make sandwiches. She eats muffins. She can eat like normal, not a big dinner like. She can eat. We sometimes eat out, but not like a oven baked piece of chicken and potatoes and veg. She doesn't really make that anymore. She occasionally gives herself a fry up that I have to supervise. She use a frying pan to make 5 foods and or sandwiches. It's not the best of meals, but since I complained to her healthcare worker, one of them, professional healthcare team, she's tried to eat better, greater, although she has a sweet tooth, and her sugar levels the last time were 5.9. And I complained today again, and they don't. She won't stop. She won't change. But at least she's tried to get back. And she just. She shouldn't be out by herself. Because she can wander off. Maybe not. She can get lost. Maybe not. So and sometimes she'll talk about my dad and stuff historical, and I'll get sad, and I want to cry, and I just like to have some me time for a couple hours here and there, and I'm like, nowadays I have to get up earlier before my mom, and just have that me time with pets for a baby's garden indoor, just even if I'm just sitting doing nothing, absolutely nothing, just drinking my water, cold water boiled hot, that's fine, I do miss going out lots like I used to. I used to do more activities, active. I'm trying to get used to doing it all indoors. It should have happened a lot sooner, that alleged COVID-19, SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome, that virus. A strong virus that could not be cured and or healed with antibiotics, whatever that word is. Couldn't be healed. It's a virus. It was like a cold and flu. Rest. Maybe something over the counter for quite some time. And it was considered the deadliest illness of the new millennium, or whenever it is, 2000 whatever. Really? Did they ever study history and geography? Because I did, and it not happened that way. It's not that I could see. It's just another cold and flu thing. A virus. Respiratory. That's been around before the 1800s. It was just another strain of it. You think those healthcare workers, scientists, whoever would have been ready for it? Stuff from the past coming back and forth. I mean, there's still the measles. There's still smallpox. There continues to be the influenza, colds. There's still cholera. Yeah, toilets. Yeah. That's something I don't like doing usually. I keep saying to some other people, I should get women's diapers when I go out in public. Not that I'm going to need it, but just in case, because I don't like using bathrooms public. Sometimes my mom was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm cleaning the toilet seat. Both. Why? She shouldn't. I'm like, why not? We've been out in public. My bum has been somewhere. I wanted to wipe it. It's just something I do. I don't do much else. I just wipe that because of my wrists. But, I was like, so I mentioned to my doctor today, my sinuses, as I mentioned earlier. I woke up with them yesterday, worse than before and earlier. And I mentioned I have allergies, and I'm like, because of my heart, this sinus bradycardia thing. I was like, what can I get? Because nothing over the counter works. I wanted an antihistamine. And he was like, no. I was like, oh, you got me joking. I have a better idea. Continue with what you're doing and take a nasal spray and use that once in a while, twice a day as needed. So I'm going to start that tomorrow because I want to see what my nose is like overnight. So I've actual antidepressants and starting tomorrow. Instead of extra calcium, the doctors didn't even mention that I should take supplements, calcium and vitamin D. Not any. Good, because I'm going to take that instead. Notation. Collagen is good for the same sort of stuff that's allegedly calcium and vitamin D. Allegedly. Don't do the same as me. Check with your doctors first. This is good. And I'm getting a blood test, like I said, test results to confirm my iron ferritin levels, because I'm going to take this once a day. Although, do I have to reduce fruits and vegetables and seeds and stuff? I can. Tonight, my dinner, next to nothing. My lunch, next to nothing. I've had calories today less than 2,000, and I'm hungry. I want to cry. It's a form of depression I can't get rid of. You know, I've got a sick cat, I've got a sick mom. I'm just exhausted. Hopefully tonight I'll get more than 5 hours sleep. That's what we're aiming for. That I can get more sleep and I get up. And then I can exercise. I can do my 10-minute walk fit, maybe 20-minute walk fit while my mom is doing whatever. My cat's medicated. In between medicating, I could do 10 minutes of walk fit. Get back to reading books. Yeah. He didn't tell me to stop doing anything. He just said, in addition to this pill, it'll make you feel better. It'll help get you back to functioning more, because you need to rest. And so it was a good day, although I could not find any more stress ease supplements there, so I left without. But this ought to help with all, because I love biotin. I really do. It for all aches and pains, nerve damage. It's just because I've had incidents happen to me earlier, others. So I'm like, I'm going back on it. It's not a lot, and if my body, maybe I'll just do it every other day, and then maybe once a week. Who knows? Right now it's every day, starting tomorrow. I'm vegetarian, flexitarian vegetarian, which means I can. I'm not a strict vegetarian. I'm not a strict vegan. Here's the nutrition facts. So anyways, in addition to all that, my mom was overdosing on some of her medications. That's why I was like, I need to help you. Stop yelling at me. I want to give you your medicines. Today too. She was like, oblivious. I was like, how many do you have to take your anti-inflammatories, painkillers in one day? She said 6. I'm like, then why were you taking more? I'm like, I can see and hear you, you know. I can see and hear you now that there's a door blocking my vision, although I can see and hear her now. She's doing nothing. She's resting. She's in her room quiet. There's not any light on, so she must be on her bed resting. She likes to read books. She doesn't knit, sew, or cook, or bake, or do anything, really. She just likes to occasionally read books. It's one of her favorite hobbies, reading books. and being athletic so much. She likes to get active, but she doesn't like to do it very public the same way I did, where, when. She likes to do it more, less published, which is fine. Active Out Center, Mississauga, and all other places earlier, such as 1389 Cawthorne Road, Mississauga Senior Citizens Center, and Square One Older Adult Center, and Active Out Center, Mississauga. And social media, virtual, multimedia at home. Like now I can do this. I'm chosen this time because she's not in the same room as me. She's not here. She's elsewhere. But it's really sad watching someone depreciate with Alzheimer's. Her mentality, well, verbally she is. And just watching her get worse. Yeah, without medication. Hopefully the medication will give her some more time before maybe she might completely forget. I don't know. Right now, I'd say she remembers about 80% of everything. Life, living, my father, family, immediate, and other relatives, others. It just depends what day it is. I'd definitely say it's about 80. And that's without medication. Because there wasn't a lot to remember, because I didn't know her before 1968, other than I was in a womb. I was born. I didn't know. So I don't know before. I just know around the 1980s or so, she started to forget. She began forgetting and made up all sorts of stories and stuff. I mean, some, including today, the psychiatrist was like, maybe put her in a facility. And I said, the facility would make her forget more. She wouldn't have any independence whatsoever. She wouldn't be able to do her hobbies and stuff. She would be isolated and possibly abused by the staff there. She's very public, famous. They might not treat her as well as they should. We did have some home help. She's very shy around me. She doesn't like me bathing her very. I did sometimes help her wash her hair. But with her legs, she wanted a professional. So, but that's pretty much it, really. And the depression I've got causes, my dad dead 1984, and my exes, which I do have more than 2 exes, before, during, and later, and since 1980 something or other. More of the dead died, others related, including fur babies. I do have a cat that's alive now, living. Other people since we Bellises were famous, celebrities, surname, etc. Examples, like I said earlier, 1389 Cawthorne Road and Square One Older Adult Center, an Active Adult Center of Mississauga, published and all were published as such as online, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and published, snapped, and printed news media publication, some kind or other, and police, etc., November 12 and 13, 2024. I'm not guilty. Rebellis is not guilty. Somebody dead outside. I've mentioned it before. I lied. I killed my mom. And then when police couldn't go through with that, getting more proof or evidence, they said my mom committed suicide. I said no. And then forced entry, blah, blah, blah. They hurt me. And they finally got to my mom's bedroom. They opened my mom's bedroom door without my permission, without my consent. And then they told me to cut out. Talked amongst themselves and left. Walked out the front door. I closed my front door. And they know I'm not guilty. They knew I'm not guilty. I mean, I never do that. Even my psychiatrist and her family doctor know I'd never do that. They never mentioned it much of anything. They just know I'm not guilty. I did nothing. I didn't kill her. And she did not commit suicide. And December 12, 2024, and all other times my mom, ill, etc., diagnosis, Alzheimer's. My mom was, all happened as there, everywhere, instead of as spells. And I have the extreme fear and worry about others. Well, that's obvious, and my extreme fear of interacting with other people and performing in front of others that interfered with my normal life. Well, what I mentioned, who wouldn't have difficulties, recuperating, recovering from all that. I have written it all down because journaling is supposed to make it feel better, So I journaled. I've got like 3 or 4 pages of journaling today. I have a severe fear of being around others often. I mean, I like to have at least 2 hours a day where I'm like by myself. Maybe more. I can't. I try to get up and have at least 30 minutes. We need pets before my mom comes out and needs help. I had difficulty sleeping. And I do have a severe fear of interacting with others, other people that is, and performing in front of others, such as stages, 1389 Cawthra Road, and Square One Old Adult Center, the closed Square One Old Adult Center, and open active adult center, Mississauga, and online. I mean, before I got more frightened, I was doing some little videos about me beginning to do more indoor walk fit. I just wanted to promote myself as greater and better than many other people showed and told I was earlier. And he was like, my doctor was like, and all the discriminations and prejudices and prejudges, hate, predatory, resentful, internet trolling, harassment, bullying, violent, internet trolling, stalking, threats, other people did because they witnessed the word psychiatry affiliated with our surname, Spellis, and ourselves. You have to be crazy. And I don't like using the term crazy. You don't have to be mentally ill, criminally insane, incompetent to want to be with a psychiatrist. I mean, the pills that I'm taking now are even going to help me get through menopause all the more. So there you go. It's everything. It's one thing right after the other, including menopause. Menopause. That's... So I'm beginning a new series where you can watch me, maybe not my 20 minutes or half an hour, and won't see me drinking any cold water, boiled hot online anymore, because that's my me time. But I might do more. I'll do more. That is, I will do more what I eat in a day videos, more active videos in time. I've only just taken one pill. One dose, that is. I've only taken one tablet. One dose. Well, half a dose. Well, half a tablet. One dose. Half a tablet. One dose. As prescribed. Prescriptions. And I'm not going to mention the medication or anything, because, I mean, even on Facebook, I was hated a lot by other people. And I don't use Twitter anymore. I don't like it. I don't like putting myself out there. I'd rather do a little bit of a blether instead of typing all that stuff. And I don't like using live streams anywhere else. Very just here because, well, it is what it is. But all the negative publicity that we've been getting past year, 2024, that was a lot. That's lots to take in, take out. Especially when the company I used to work for didn't support us very, 2019. They're always complaining that they had less staff. I'm there. Sometimes we were there sometimes, and my mom likes to do her social and hobby, and I'm like, I'm here if you need me. You're without staff, I'm available. My mom can see. She's fine. I could do something. I mean, anything to keep it going. I'd hate for it to get closed. I mean, I don't want that blamed on me ever, and it should not, cannot, could not, may not, need not, must not. I get blamed that there's not any of the stuff there, more programs. So I was like, but they never picked up on it. They were like, my mom was like, oh, you lack some winnings. I'm like, for the amount of it that it is, you know. And I'm like, it's your winnings anyways, and I usually get just half. When you win, you give me half. And it's been vlogged. I'm not lying. Oh, in addition to that, back to psychiatry. I'm bouncing all over the place, aren't I? I mentioned my mom, youngest brother Norman Thompson, not telling her the truth as we were before, including police witnessed they did, so did security guards witnessed they did. There'd be phone records and mail, and online internet trolling they did, cyber they did, all the stuff they did, and violence and threats and abuse, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, and more over the past several years. Yeah, I've disowned him completely. I am not going. Any will that shows up with him in it is not my will. He's even been in Canada without telling her, without showing her. I've witnessed it. Other people have witnessed it, and his violence, and his ignorance, and his false complaints, his false accusations. We weren't guilty. Police, more than 18 years ago, more than that, 2025. More than 18 years earlier. More than 18 years. Or definitely 17 years. He's disowned. And police were like, get new phone numbers, maybe even relocate, update all your personal information, etc. online. Reset your privacy settings, try not to reach out anymore. Document all his comings and goings, phone calls, etc. Get call display. Don't give him your phone number. Don't get a landline anymore. Just have nothing that he can reach out to. And does he just, and if you feel frightened, or do you see him in your neighborhood, whatever, photograph, videotape, record, go to the police. I've done all that. We've done all that. My mom didn't remember. When enough the police show and tell the truth, all those other people, we're not paranoid. We're really fearful of. And he just bangs on her sometimes, physically, mentally, emotionally, more than 2 years. Won't let her enjoy the rest of her life. He's like, me, 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 me. I have to know you. I must know you. Or else. I mean, he's lied that we used to crank call and harass him. Yeah, he phoned. I mean, even if it's one, and I've told her, don't phone him back until he phone calls you because you've already reached out and returned his call. You don't need to do it anymore. Just leave him alone. Just leave him alone. Don't send him anything, not mail, anything. Don't talk to him, nothing. Just leave him alone. I've even said to her, leave your voicemail on. Just let him leave a message. If it bothers him and he gets upset about it and lies to the police, does more harm, eventually the truth will come out and he should, can, could, must, and need get judiciary punished and even sued. Did all he did. He can't be involved in anything, anywhere we did and or do. Because for one, we didn't even know 1984 before my dad died, my father died. I'm sure of it. I didn't even know anybody that existed other than my mom and dad, parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, all that stuff, pets, fur babies. My dad worked for full-time, and his hobbies and his interests, and he had his immediate family, my mom, my dad, etc. When my mom's story tells her hours that she alleged happened, doesn't the same as my dad hours I mentioned earlier. It's really weird. And then he started to show up, he started to show up in the late 1980s. The other people, allegedly Thompson. They started to show up, and my mom forgot that I was like a first-time student, that I showed and told lots of media that I did not real, I had to get a job, blah, 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 my money, this and that, dad, inheritances, everything. And then I was fed up anyways because I wanted to get out for a few hours, so I decided to maybe get some part-time jobs, whatever, and go to work for a while. And I was like, that was fine for about till like 2004, 2005. And then again, I had that accident. I was cooking and the knife, I looked up from what I was cutting and hurt my wrist. And I didn't notice very until I looked at it, and then I was screaming my head off. I was screaming and yelling until I collapsed and went unconscious and came to again. It was an awful year. And it took a while to recuperate, recover, and get use of my hand more. I'll never get full use of it, but it's a lot better and a lot greater than it was. And he's just an awful person. He came around with and or without me home, 4011 Arbor Green Drive, Unit 4. There was some photos and stuff, and he was abusive then. He was really bothering us. He insisted he had to come around. I never invited him. Didn't want him. I don't have much to do with anybody that's allegedly related to my mom, surname Thompson. And he's just been a nuisance ever since. And the more closer we moved to this neighborhood, the more we realized that. I've seen him around before. He's a bad one. He's like one of those that can get an international phone, allegedly UK, and show and tell my mom that he's in Scotland, and he's not. He's in Canada. He was. And eventually, somebody or other should pick up on this story, mainstream media, and show and tell anything, everything, videos, photos, recordings, securities, cameras on images live, real time and recorded, and during. phone records, videos, photos, recordings that weren't even published, that were given as evidence. I'm like, in past year, 2024, he came around. I told security, keep him downstairs. If you let my mom up, but don't bring him up. Somehow or other, he got through security without my permission, without my consent, and threw my mom's suitcase at me. In here. And then he insisted that we spend some time with him while he was doing this on the internet, on his cell phone, text messaging, and etc. Public, social. He knows I'm a vlogger and I'm a public person. So doing that. And I'm like, I haven't hardly been to that restaurant ever since. Very rarely. I don't like to be there. Anywhere he was, my space. That was my space. He made it awful. He'd been internet trolling, internet stuff, phones, etc. And he was like, he did something off it, tried to make us look bad. Purposeful, wrong. I say not competent, unemployable, guilty, yet still him. He didn't have bus fare allegedly. He didn't have any loose change. So my mom didn't have anything allegedly, and I gave him $1 or whatever the bus fare was at the time. I was like, just go away. And when I finished, I was like, shouldn't have done that. But he is who he is. And there's been Thompsons on some of my social media. Same surname. When I'm watching other people live streaming, etc., the name Thompson popped up. And I'm like, why? And when I see the names, I'm like, I let the other vloggers and whoever, multimedia celebrities, like, no, somebody's on your social media trolling, internet trolling, harassing you, stalking you. Report them and block them. I don't show up on everything. I just occasionally show up. Just usually when there's foods. I like to see what their foodisms, connoisseurings are. Give myself some ideas. Ordering, cooking, such as my salad. I very rarely do any other cooking. I did some cooking earlier, just for fun. My Yorkshire puddings, total flop. Total flop. Didn't turn out. I don't make anything from scratch, like soup or anything. Today I was like, oh, I'm going to do some cutting, make my salad. But it's a real fear, just like my next door neighbors being stalkers, those other people next door. I told my doctors about that. They believed me. I mean, every time I Google the word stalking and I do my research about the word stalking, just to see if there's anything else, always one of those things. They're doing something that's stalking. It shows up in everything I've researched. They're stalkers. And we're just the victims of it all. And we can't keep moving around. I'm like, the police have to arrest somebody eventually. We cannot keep moving around. We've moved around more than 9 times because of those other people. And I am a social media and I am a multimedia kind of person. I've worked in public places before. Just because my mom doesn't remember and other people have lied to her and stolen from her and stuff, that doesn't mean that's not real. She alleged that her father had dementia, was senile or whatever. That runs in her side of the family. My dad's side of the family were mostly retarded and mentally ill, although not necessarily dementiated, but more like obsessive compulsive delusional stalkers, internet trolling. The internet is awful for that. I've resetted so many privacy settings about those other people. I don't even know them. We didn't know them for more than 15 years before and later since my dad died. Before now, and they put photos of us all on social media, anywhere and everywhere, and I was like, what the hell? Even the ones named McDonald, and I'm not talking about McDonald's at the AACM. Well, there is two. I don't know, maybe one of them. But she plastered us all over the internet, including my parents and my parents' parents, my parents' parents' parents, pets, fur babies, myself, and the photos were touched up, they were altered to make me look ugly, grotesque, ill, retarded, disabled, dysfunctional, and I'm not. They don't even know me. They just know of me. When and if they ever admit it. Oh, and my doctors today were like, psychiatrist, do you know anybody else? And I was like, yes and no. I was showed and told I knew some other people named surnamed Tessier, and that the boy had psychosis schizophrenia. And I was like, I have another one that's first cousin who's retarded and disfigured and everything, and she schizophrenic and viral encephalitis, something or other. And he was like, okay. He stopped me as soon as I said that, pretty much. We continue talking about something else. And all that happened within the last 12 months, what surprised me, the doctor's even been on my social media, Everything and anything is public, And that Norma Thompson's been in that place, I'm sure of it. And some other people's stalkers too. Not living their real lives, just bothering us, harassing us, accusing us of all sorts of allegations, accusations, false information, abuse, all that they did to and about us, instead of us to and about them. I mean, he's not our next of kin. He's nothing to her. He's absolutely nothing, just abuse. And if his father had it, his alleged dad, William Thompson, allegedly senile, and he's doing it to my mom too, and my mom alleged oldest brother, Tom, whatever his first name was, and their sister, allegedly Estelle Thompson. I mean, he's done it to everybody, and the only difference between then and now is there was not as many securities cameras on recording, and photos available, videos available, available and recorded, available, and show and tell available. I mean, hopefully they'll get all the old police report numbers, incident report numbers, occurrence report numbers, and compile it all together, and tell us, and go to the police and show and tell that that's who they are, that all of it, I mean, I used to befriend maybe one or more other person on social media. Doesn't mean they were should, can, could, may, must, and need showed up at doors and windows and all else were those other Bellises and myself were, are, and be, and did, And it's not me that's giving other people negative publicity, such as 1389 Cawthra Road, Square One Older Adult Center, and Active Adult Center of Mississauga. It's other people, it's themselves. Do you agree with me? Use the like button, leave likes, and subscribe. Right now I have, over 1,000 subscribers. Awesome. Thank you. And my research and other people showed and told eating more fruits and vegetables, which is why I'm getting my iron ferritin checked, because I'd love to do that instead of eating foods like breads, cakes, and all that good stuff, which I like and love, and less sugar. I like my sweets, I really truly do, although I don't eat many. Although when I have a coffee, I want a sweetened. Can I not have sugar because for some reason or other, since my iron ferritin level is wonky, I was like, I need something. So having this first thing in the morning is like having a dessert. Having one of these, and then later on in the day, having a sugar-free syrup in my coffee. Oh, that's so good. That's pretty much it. That's all I have for my sweets. Occasionally, some ginger ale, maybe a Coke, maybe a Max Coke or something. Not Coke Max, a Zero Max. A Zero Coke. Zero ginger ale. I don't like zero ginger ale. It's watery. I prefer the ones without diet, without zero. I occasionally I can eat a chocolate, but not very often. I don't eat many sweets. I've never had a sweet tooth fairy. I prefer salty. Even salty candies. I like salty. I don't like very sweet. Um, Having a condiment on my salad, that's a treat. Condiment on anything like pierogies, a dip, chips, whatever, that's a treat. Uh, like yesterday, I had some chickpea and sweet potato soup. I was using that like a dip. I did overindulge, although then again, I have to eat differently. And I want to eat differently for mental health, physical health, and emotional health. I want to eat more fruits and vegetables like I used to when I was younger. Before this happened, Before that happened. And I'm not supposed to eat anything. My doctors really want me to be a vegan, which I don't believe exists. It's just a form of vegetarianism. I said, nah. Because my mom's not a vegetarian, I'm a vegetarian. My cat isn't. The only ones that sort of are the fairy garden, not Diwali garden, fairy garden. It's just a fairy's garden. An African violet and a cactus. Mostly get water and soil. I suppose they're vegetarian until they get some bullshit or some horse shit and some shit, and then they're carnivore. I don't know what to do. Just gonna try to see what happens within the next 6 months. Snowed today outside. It was a snow day. Allergies. Snow day, and I'm like, 3 or 4 months from now, the weather gets warmer. Maybe 5 months. My mom is feeling better. She can go on her walker and zoom along with me, keeping her company. She can go for some little walkabouts because she can actually with the walker. It's amazing how so many elderly can get up and about, like in the older days, historical days when they were bed bound or chair bound, put in a wheelchair and lost all their faculties physically. Before, during, and later or since, losing their physical capabilities like urinating in the toilet and stuff themselves. So she can zoom along. It's so cute. I mean, would she go in one of those other facilities that's allegedly specialized, she wouldn't be able to do that. She get more physically challenged and less physically active. And their diet wouldn't be necessarily good too. She doesn't like necessarily hospital food. She's been a patient before. She doesn't like all others do witness. She preferred to go have me when I visited or anyone else visited her, get her a coffee, a bagel, anything other than hospital food. Oh, I'm coughing because I'm talking too much. I've been talking too long. I mean, without me, my mother, where would she be nowadays? Later on in life, she wouldn't be She wouldn't even be in a facility that meets her expensive tastes. She would be able to do hobbies the same because, I mean, some people allege that they get out once they're in there. Not very. I don't know who came up with that, but that's not very true. They have to have a relative and a ride, maybe, but even their medical appointments, they don't get out as often. I mean, they can get transportation, although, and or the doctor goes there, although, or the doctor is already facilitated, they don't get to come and go. And my mom is like, she didn't want to go in by herself. She was like, "Oh, come with me, Afro." And I'm like, "It doesn't work that way. If you go in, you go in by yourself." And she's like, "Oh, no." I mean, we went to Chartwell, Riviera, uh, Amica. That's three of them. And Riviera, that I know specializes, they have patients in there with schizophrenia. And I was like, absolutely not. You're not going in there. And I mean, they have to have special care Alzheimer's. I mean, they have to have it. They can't have all that. And I'm like, it's too small. No. And consider what happened when, before 2018, on that street, and with whom? Who? Other person, other people? No, you're not getting put in there. That's absolutely not. I don't think they would allow me in there. They'd be able to visit, but absolutely not. And history, other people. And I was like, there's one out in that. I'm like, no. It's not like living in an apartment, condominium, and or rental. It's not like that whatsoever. You'll lose your independence. You'll lose it completely. You won't have any independence whatsoever. You'll be supervised, and the staff there, no. Because she likes her independence. I mean, I don't even get to spend time with her 24/7. She is independent. She might be having, she's had stuff happen to her head. Okay, others, although she wants to be independent, and she can't be independent. It's just she talks a lot of nonsense once in a while, doesn't remember. And I contacted the Referral Alzheimer's Society. I actually went to two, one in the UK and one in Canada. The one in Canada replied to me and gave me a list of medicines they alleged would make my mom feel better, one of which she's already taking. And I mentioned it to her doctor today and pharmacist today, and they increased the dose. My mom was like, "Oh, I want to come off at side effects I don't like." We were all like, "No, you're not." It's going to make you think more like you used to think and forget lots less oftener. I don't think it's complete. Maybe she has a little bit of dementia, but it's not full Alzheimer's as of yet. She's had a concussion. She's had head trauma. And considering all where she's been, isn't any wonder. I've had a concussion, so I know what a concussion feels like. I've had more than one. It hurts. And it can affect the memory. I remember I had a concussion in 2019. Well, others too witnessed. It was a doozy. And I have recovered. I've completely recovered. My doctor said, I've said I'm fine. There was just some bruising, bleeding that I had to heal. Other than that, my head was fine. I just had to calm myself down and slow down a bit. So I couldn't remember for about 3 weeks at the Active Adult Center in Mississauga what my schedule was, work and sit and dance. I couldn't figure it out. That, and they didn't give me documents. They never printed out my schedule. I never got anything that was ever very in writing. I just knew I had to be there. But they never told me when, they had other people filling in, and I wasn't fully aware of what was going on. So I didn't know if someone was going to be doing that, what my job was. Was I not doing this? What job was I doing those days? I didn't know I was going to be just sitting with my mom playing bingo. I mean, I don't care to do that very often. I would rather take an exercise class there. So I was like, I mean, I can play it, but I'd rather just do, work it. So I was like playing and all that. It just all got messed up. So they replaced me. And nowadays they're lacking staff. They haven't got the staff that they used to have. Me. So that one staff member, plus other people didn't always show up too. So sometimes they don't have a runner. And the alleged vice president and or president of the conglomerate company business used to do it. And I mean, and I'm sitting right there. And they're like, I'm right there. I should be able to just, And what are they going to do? Internet troll us more? Do more internet trolling? I mean, that's not right. If they're internet trolling, which they have done, why are they still working there? They should have been fired instead of been made a big kerfuffle about publicly. They should have fired them. Whether I like them or not, they should have been fired. So we would probably have maybe 2 or 3 less people there, lacking staff once more, I'm not going to name names. They know who they are. And they're probably on my social media. I mean, those 2 that I'm thinking of now, that I remember, they should have been fired more than 2 years ago, did all that. I mean, the Active Out Center in Mississauga, were it not for me, yes, me, 2018 and 2019 would never opened with bingo. Because I was the bingo. All bingo. It's all me, all bingo. And stuff has happened since then, and one thing after the other, but I can heal, It's just a matter of right kind of stuff, Can heal. And be complex, or not be complex, be stressed. Ease. This is so good. In addition to this, I'm raring to go. So hopefully I'll get some sleep. So I'm going to finish my tea with you, and then I'm going to bugger off. I'm going to make some less nonsense, less bullshit, more factual videos, vlogs, with and or without more community posts advertising that I'm doing that. So many stalkers on my social media community posts. They should all have been fired by their employers, and it's their employers should have fired them. They should have been doing that. It's not professional, it's not employable. And I mean, other residents, no, they should have been, the police shouldn't have been here. They should have been there and over on the other side of the complex. Get rid of it all, Judiciary, going before a judge and just as the piece that is, and Crown and District Attorneys should have put everything that's evidence, including all on securities, on cameras, images live in real time. And I'm not just talking about 1 or 2 segments, hours of it. Hours. There's more than 1,000 hours of us not guilty, and other people, and other people guilty did. I don't care if it hurts their feces. I don't care if it hurts their feelings. I don't care. The guilty can go away. I mean, earlier I was going to put out a bag of garbage, and that stalker was out there from it returned to next door. That man. I was like, no, just going to relock the door and just stay away. Stay away. I haven't been out there since. I live in fear, and my doctors know that. I live in fear. stalker. I mean, and we're not the only victims of it all. I mean, he goes downstairs to condominium staff, alleged staff, and harasses them and all, stalking and harassing them. Security, alleged site administrator, alleged property manager, and lots of others. Stalkers. That's all they do around here. And did they not remember, and or obviously lied, that they did not? Did they did? They did. We did not, although they did, and they apparently lied. They did not, and they obviously maybe even forgot. I mean, security cameras, all that information. I mean, all of it, all front doors, all back doors, all balconies, all windows, walls, all that, And they got some videos and photos that were and were not published social media. So security's footage, security should have sent the police. Alleged concierge. Parking security, all that. I mean, he's been again. And he's walking around as if he can say anything more instead of not doing that. I mean, making noises going out that front door. What is that to do? Is that supposed to be notifying us, letting us know they're leaving their home? Social media, I don't care. We should never have been on it in the first place. It's probably on it tonight. Probably use some of this and lie more and or forget more and not seek. If they forget, they should get health care and get some to make them less forgetful. It shouldn't be around us. There is not any documents documented verbally, physically, inks, anything else on papers that those other people should, can, could, may, must, and need, are, were, be, did, and tried, did, anywhere. We were, are, be, and did, and tried, did. I tried to sit and dance. I tried to do chair exercises. I tried. Now I'm into complete and utter walk fit. I tried to be a mall walker, Square One Older Adult Center, and the Active Adult Center, Mississauga. All before, all during September 4, 2024. Oh, I wonder if it's snowing outside more. Oh, this is one of my favorite seasons, winter. I know I've lost a lot and I've gained lots, although it's one of my favorite times of the year. I love when it's snowing, and I love the after snowing. I just like it so much. I like watching the snow come down, come down snow and on all surfaces before it's even disturbed by any humans, and snow plows, all that, the snow removal. I just like to look at it. It's so beautiful. Trees, etc. Rooftops, etc. I like autumn too. It's another favorite time of the year. When anything goes dormant, getting ready for hibernation. Trees, lots of leaves fall off the trees. They change colors. Trees, leaves, colors. There's pine cones, lots from evergreens that end up on ground surfaces. Spring and summer I like because I could be more active, athletic when in it. I did any. Other than that, it's my two favorite seasons. Autumn and winter. all before, all during, all later, all since December 17th, 2024. I really don't feel any different at Windows, just a little bit quieter. Everything, my hearing is more delicate nowadays. I feel like everything quiet I appreciate lots more. Really weird. Mom, are you coming out to have anything to eat? You have to have something. You need your bedtime pills, medicine. Yes. Yeah, and you should have something to eat. You should maybe have some soup or something. What? Well, take an anti-nauseant. I'll give you an anti-nauseant. No, I'll give you an anti-nauseant.